Amen. I promise I'm going to keep this as short as I can. I got a plethora of information I need to get out to you. I'm going to try to keep it short. I'm going to tell you the same thing that J-Lo told her husbands. I won't be for you long. Recently, I had the privilege of reading an article in Time magazine, and it kind of arrested my attention. The title of that article was Men Are Obsolete. In the article, the writer sets out to prove why men are no longer significant. She goes in and tells how men are no longer making the most money, that men no longer outnumber women in college, that men are not necessary to father in a home where single mothers are thriving. She went on and on talking about how men are insignificant. I began to wonder, how many people actually feel the same way, but not saying it? How many men feel insignificant? How many women feel that men are insignificant? This caused me to teach a sermon to debunk and dismiss this erroneous myth and to preach a message entitled, You Do Need a Man. In this message, I set out to prove to some and to reassure to others that men are necessary. Let me ask you this question. Start off with this question. What can cause a society to believe that men are obsolete? What can cause the majority of this nation and nations all across the world to believe that men are insignificant? What could be the cause? Could it be, ladies and gentlemen, that the reason why a lot of people feel that men are obsolete or insignificant is because they never really encountered a real man? It's quiet in this sanctified Holy Ghost church. Could it be that they really didn't come in contact with a man, but it came in contact with something else? Can I break this down to you? There are 5 development stages of a man or a male. There's 5 development stages of a male. Can I break this down to you? The 5 development stages of a man. What are they? Number 1, malehood. Number 2, boyhood. Number 3, manhood. Number 4, husbandhood. And number 5, fatherhood. I need some help. Emmanuel, come here for a second. Have Emmanuel stand here. Rod, come on up. Stand next to him. My brother, I'm going to need you to assist too. Stand right next to him. Dixon, stand next to him. All right. Jerome and Antonio. Just Antonio is fine. Antonio's fine. Stand right there. So what we have in front of us is the 5. Somebody say 5. Development stages of a male, of a man. There's 5 stages every male child supposed to go through. This is development. All right. You start off as a male. You have no choice in what you decided to be, whatever you became. That was ordained by God. You didn't decide, I want that and I don't want that. We got children in the room. I want that, but I don't want that. All right? You didn't have that choice. God birthed you as a male. You then become a boy. Somebody say boy. That is the state that you become. After you become a male, you become a boy. That's your childhood state. After childhood, there's manhood. You become a man. Those are the necessary steps. Then, if you choose to become one, and I require, and I suggest that every man get married. Okay, they about to kick me out of the church. My name is on there. I suggest, the Bible talks about this, it's not good for man to be alone. Okay? You can take that any way you want. But it's not good for man to be alone. So I'm going to make a helper suitable for him. That's what the Bible says. So I suggest, unless, let me make this caveat, unless you've been called to a life of celibacy, where you're devoted to nothing but working with. That's what Paul was. Paul was a spiritual eunuch. That means I ain't messing with no woman. I have no desire for no woman or man. I gotta say that. All right? Have no desire for anything like that. I want to stay specifically for God's use and purpose only. All right? Unless you do that, you've been called to marriage, brothers. If you have a desire to merge, I'm trying to help somebody in here. That means you've been called to marriage. So you come a husband, the next step after husband is father. Here's the problem, ladies and gentlemen. We become males. We're born into malehood. There's boyhood. But there's something that's happening in the world today that causes brothers to get stuck right here. Causes brothers to get stuck in boyhood. All right? What is a boy? A boy play games. A boy has temper tantrums when they don't get their way. A boy is selfish. Okay? A boy sees girls as nasty, as far as I don't want a commitment to it. Oh, I got no amens in here. All right? But she's worth hanging around with. That's boy. That's boy. So what's being released in the culture, especially in the black culture, is this trapping of wonderful brothers, wonderful, powerful men trapped in boys. And it's a syndrome called prolonged adolescent syndrome. Prolonged adolescent syndrome, where they want to trap, especially black men, as a boy. Y'all still don't believe what I'm talking about? Okay. Can I, the culture is putting it. Can I prove this? Okay. All right. Brother, shout out to me. What do you call your home? Okay. Now, y'all not feeling what I'm saying. Y'all not feeling what I'm saying. It's called the what? The crib. The crib is a what? A baby's bed. Okay. So I'm going to the crib. I'm going to the crib. All right. I'm going to the crib. They say that. What do most men call their significant other? That's my mama. Hey, mama. You looking good, mama. It's all to try to hone. Okay. Our favorite rappers. What are they called? Lil Wayne. Little Boosie. Little Yachty. Whatever his name is. It's Little Uzi. That's right. All little to trap brothers in the state of being a boy. Try to trap our young men to being boy. But we see in front of us the 5 development stages of a man. So the question becomes, why? Can I break this down to you? The reason why most brothers get strapped here, because unlike women, we don't have a significant chiming of when we enter into manhood. Okay, y'all not feeling what I'm saying. Okay. There's a time in every girl's life when something happens to her that tells everybody around her, She about to be a woman. So mama say, okay, let's get it together. You no longer a little girl no more. Let's start cooking. Let's start cleaning because your body is telling you. Okay. So now what they do for women, which is not done for men, they have a rite of passage that we see happening. The majority of those rite of passages is called a Sweet 16. Men don't have a rite of passage. Back in the Jewish culture and even in African culture, there was a rite of passage to let a man or let a boy know you're no longer a boy, you've now been transitioned to man. So because we have no clear definition of when to journey from boy to man, we get stuck. Then we got some crazy brothers because they stuck in being boyhood themselves. They tell us that the definition or the transition comes when you have your first experience. I got kids in here. I can't go where I want to go. When you have your first experience, now you're a man. Y'all still don't believe me? When you introduce most of us in here, when you introduce your son or you do this, y'all act like y'all don't do this. The first question they ask the little boy is, what you doing in school? That's not what they ask. What's your IQ? Do you have a job? No, the first thing they ask every male is, do you have a girlfriend? Or are you still a virgin? I remember I was 20, 22, 23 years old. And I got in the car driving. We had a 2-hour drive because me and his brother was driving. And he asked me, you got a girlfriend? I said, sure, I got a girlfriend. I got a girlfriend? He said, yeah. I got kids in here, Antonio. Okay. He said, are you strapping? Okay, that's better, baby? Thank you. I got to check with my wife because she get on me when I'm not right. Are you strapping? I look at him and said, no. He's like, what? You know, he's out there. I said, don't worry about that. I'm doing nothing. What do you mean? I said, I'm a virgin. How old are you? 22 years old. A virgin. He pulled the car over. And first, he started to question my sexuality. Of course, because every time a man decides to make himself wait, it has to be because he don't know who he want to be with. It can't be because he believes that he is required to be with one woman. I got no amens in here. So instead of this brother celebrating what I'm doing, this cat is dogging me out because I decided to do the God's way and wait till I find my wife. So most brothers are told when you have your first experience, you are now a man. So watch this. In other words, a man's or a boy's transition to manhood is based on sexuality. Can I debunk that real quick? The man's transition from boyhood to manhood is not about sexuality, it's about responsibility. Okay? He's responsible now. Once he becomes responsible, he becomes a man. When he could be responsible for a woman, he becomes a husband. When he could become responsible for children, he becomes a father. It's all about responsibility. A boy turns into man under the weight of being responsible. So this is what I got to tell every mother that's raising a son by herself. Let that boy be responsible for something. I'm not telling you based on just a notion. I'm telling you based on experience. This is my mother right here. As soon as I could work, my mother told me, you're going to have to pay some rent. Now, as mad as I was at that time, I didn't understand. But she was putting responsibility on me that will birth the man I will be today. But it all comes forth from responsibility. So when you don't give your children, your male children especially, responsibility, you're stunting their growth. Let them pay a bill. In order, as much as they watching that cable TV, playing those video games, give them something to... A boy needs responsibility to birth the man that's on the inside of him. If he never gets the responsibility, he'll remain a boy. And most of our ladies haven't encountered this, they've been encountering this. Because a boy says, take care of me. Ain't that what boys do? That's boy, I'm talking about boys. Every boy in here, Makai right here, he want mama to take care of him. And he has a right to. But when you're 45, when you're 60 and you're still living with mama and mama say, that's just my little man. No. Needs responsibility. He has to be responsible. It births the man inside of him. And then, like I said, when he's able to be responsible for a woman, he moves up to husbandhood. When he's responsible for children, he moves up to being a father. These are the 5 development stages of a man. You skip one of these steps, you're in trouble. Y'all didn't hear what I just said. If I'm here trying to be here, y'all not hearing what I'm saying? The step is boom, boom. He must first show responsibility to care for a woman before he can show responsibility to care for a child. Okay. Y'all, they want me to close. They want me to close. I got 15 minutes, study fresh, I'm off. So these are the development stages of a man. He has to go through these stages to become all that God called him to be, which is a man. And a man is birthed from responsibility. He must be responsible for something. When he becomes responsible, he moves on to the next hood. Thank you, fellas. Can I back this up with scripture? Because y'all going to say he didn't pull out a scripture yet. He's been talking for about 10 minutes and then bring out a scripture. Can I put scripture on it? When I was a child, I used to speak like a child, think like a child, reason like a child. When I become a man, I did away with all childish things. When I became responsible, I was able to leave those things. Okay. I got so much on me. So responsibility pushes man in hoods. And what the world needs is not boys trapped in men's body, because we used to define, if you got hair on your chest, you're a man. If you're 6 feet, black, 12 years a slave black, then you're a man. No. A man is based on responsibility. A man is based on the choices he makes, causes him to be a man. All right? How do we know how a man looks? All we had to do is look no further than Jesus Christ, the ultimate man. Jesus was the ultimate man, willing to die, willing to live, willing to speak over everything that came out of him. All right? So, men are necessary. Somebody say men are necessary. I had to bring that out because some of y'all would have pushed back at me. I don't need this man because these men. I'm going to tell you why you've been rolling around with boys and missing out on men. But I'm here to declare you, if you look around in this sanctuary today, you will see nothing but men. And I want to tell every person in here that men are needed for more than what you think they need it for. Okay? Pastor, who needs a man? Who needs a man? Let me break this down to you. Number one, God needs a man. Say, God need a man. God don't need nobody, Pastor. He's good all by himself. Yes. Can I break this down? God doesn't need anything, but he chooses to need things. He chooses to need men. When he wanted to deliver the children of Israel, couldn't he come down and just deliver them himself? No, the Bible says he called who? Moses to do it. He called a man. When he wanted to lead the children of Israel as a king, he called David. He uses men to do great things on his behalf. Can I prove this? Can I prove this? Because, in this text I'm about to bring you, look at it. Jeremiah chapter 5 verse 1. Look what he says. This was God speaking to Jerusalem. Jerusalem was on the brink of destruction, being destroyed. And this is what he says. Roam to and fro through the streets of Jerusalem, and look now and take note, and seek her in the open squares, if you can find, this is God speaking, if you can find a man. Now watch the caveat. If you find a man, watch this, if there's one man who does justice, who seeks truth, I will pardon that town. I didn't catch that. In other words, if I can find a man who seeks justice, who seeks truth, whatever's going on, I will cause it to stop. God said, I need a man. If I'm going to change the world, God is going to change this world. He's going to do it through a man. Every man needs a man. It got real quiet. Every man needs a man. Turn to next to the brother next to you and say, you need a man. Woo! Let me break this down quickly before people leave out of this church saying some stuff about me. Every man needs a man. And what I'm talking about, every man needs a man. Every man needs another man to model what a man should be. Every man needs another man. I don't care. Can I help you? Single mothers, I love you. I love y'all. Doing a wonderful job. But as powerful as you are, you can't teach a man to be a man. Can I get some amens in here? As equipped, as beautiful, as built as you are to handle so much, you cannot teach a man to be a man. Only another man can do that. And that's why every man needs a man. What's the problem in our society is we don't have enough male role models. We don't have enough men showing other men the way. And when we don't have that, they'll start to look at other things to decide what they should be. Okay, y'all. So, if a man is not telling his son how to be a man, if a man is not telling those young men around him how to be a man, like I said, they'll start to look at things on TV. And that's not a place that you want to look to be a man. Because have you noticed on these television shows what men are? Men are represented as clumsy, bumbling idiots to the smart wife. Y'all looking at me like y'all don't know what I'm talking about. If I name some shows, you could go there. He was kind of stupid. Yeah, he was dumb. Oh, yeah. Okay, King of Queens. Okay. Y'all ever heard that show? Okay. Y'all know that show? What's the other one? Married with Children. Okay. We go down the line of shows where the man is the bumbling idiot, where the woman is a stature of wisdom. So if I'm a young man looking at that, that's what I'm supposed to be. She take care of everything. I'm just a fool. Or they start to glamorize the rap stars that they see on the videos. Want to be and emulate that. When most of them, 90% of them, didn't have a male role model in front of them. Do you know what birthed the hip hop movement? You know what gave birth to the hip hop movement? The pain of a missing father. All right, y'all want this is too much for a Sunday morning. Hip hop was birthed from brothers that didn't have male role models. Whenever you don't have a male to model what it is to be a man in front of you, you'll start to pick pieces all around you. I was telling my wife the other day, I wish I grew up in the 60s. Why? Why would you want to? This is the best time to live. Yeah, you may think that because you got your iPad and your cell phones and all that. That's good. That's cool. But to me, when I look back and look at the powerful men that was modeled before, it's like Martin Luther King, Booker T. Washington, Malcolm X, brothers that stood for something, that walked around in their communities with respect, and young men respected that. That's what I want to be. That's who I want to emulate. These are all men, W.E. Du Bois, I could go on and on, Thurgood Marshall, about brothers who stood in the front lines that we can model after. Brothers who are making a difference. I'm going to put some Bible on this because Roddy looking at me crazy. Look at this. Iron sharpens iron. So one man sharpens another. Okay, yo. This is why, brothers and sisters, church is significant. Because every Sunday, every Wednesday, my job is to sharpen every man in this place. Okay. I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. I can't trust these pastors. All the pastor want is your money and your woman. That's all they want. You go to that church, brother, they're going to take your girl and take your money. You're going to leave here broke and alone if you come to the church. Can I make a statement? Number one, I make my own money. Amen. Number two, I got the baddest woman in the game wearing my ring. So I'm not after your money. I'm not after your woman. What I'm after is seeing you become a better man. Why does God suggest that iron sharpens iron? Because if iron never sharpens iron, brothers be walking around here dull. And I see nothing but a bunch of dull brothers if you don't allow another man to sharpen the edges. All it's doing is making you better. It's making you better. Am I should be your only mentor? No. That's why we need libraries in our home, brothers. They said this. I can tell, for the most part, this is what somebody said, statistics prove, that I can tell if your children may be headed, especially your men, your young men, is headed to prison if there's no books in your home. They say if you want to keep knowledge away from a black man, you put in the book. I'm here to proclaim the devil is a liar. We got some brothers that's on the rise. We've got some brothers in this place today that's not afraid to be educated, who's not afraid to be sharpened by another man. So God needs a man. Every brother in here needs a man. And number three, every child needs a man. Oh, yes, they do. I was sitting in a gathering of family members, and I heard something come out of one of my family members' mouth, who was not raising his kids. He got girlfriends, baby mamas, plural, raising his children. When confronted with why you're not involved in your children's life, he says, they don't need me. All they need is a mama and they'd be all right. Because all I had was my mama and I was all right. Twisted thinking. Twisted thinking. Can I break this down? That's what they're trying to push in the black community. They're not pushing that in the white community. Okay, y'all. This is not pushed in the white community, only in the black community that the men are needed. Can I prove this? In order for a sister who's struggling to get welfare, a man cannot be in the house. Y'all not hearing what I'm saying? So they're pushing this on black men, black families, that the black man is insignificant. You take him out of the house, woman, you'll be all right. We're going to give you all the funding you need. If you don't put him back in his house. Keep him out. Keep him out. But every child needs a man. Can I break this down to you? Why, Pastor? Why? Because every father pushes the masculinity out of their son. That's not it. Every father pushes femininity out of his daughter. Okay, y'all not hearing what I'm saying? He not only shows his man, his son, how to walk masculine and how to be masculine, but he pushes by his love the femininity. Okay. Y'all, I ain't scared of y'all. I could prove it. I could prove it. I can look at a sister. I could deal with a sister today, right? And I can tell if she's been loved by her father and when she hasn't. Know why? Because there's a difference. There's a certain femininity on her when she's been raised by her daddy. And can I make this announcement, ladies? Femininity don't mean weak. There's a certain femininity that's on her, and I could tell because, watch this. That sister who's been raised by her father or been poured, he don't have to necessarily be in the house, but he spent enough time, invested enough in his child. Him and the mama didn't get along. That don't mean him and the mother, him and his daughter don't have to get along, or his son have to get along. I'm here for my children. So I can tell because she's strong, but not hard. Y'all don't want this today. Got me taking off my glasses. There's a difference between being strong and being hard. And when a father does not curve the edges of his daughter and produce the femininity that's unlocked on the inside of her, she becomes hard. And I got a bunch of sisters walking around here with, like they've been sucking on lemons, who are hard, thinking that they're strong. I wrote this down because I looked up in construction, when they building houses, they got different material. They got strong material and they got hard material. Can I break down the difference for you? Okay? Strong material resists failure and deformation. Okay? That word deformation means deterioration or being distorted. Okay? Look what hard means. Hard resists dents, scratches, and doesn't change. Okay. So a strong woman does not deteriorate. She resists everything that comes up. She's able to bear some things that come her way. But if she's hard, she will never change. A father pushes that out of his daughters. A father pushes that out of his sons. He knows that he's a man because his daddy pushed it out of him. Okay, y'all still, how significant this is? Jesus was in the water being baptized. And he gets out the water, and it says the dove fell on him. The Holy Spirit fell on him like a dove. And then he heard a voice in heaven that says, "This is my son in whom I'm well pleased." Okay? Y'all missed it. Y'all missed it. Up until that point, Jesus did no miracles, didn't open no blind eyes, didn't walk on water. He didn't do it until he was affirmed by his daddy. A lot of brothers are stuck in transition because they haven't been affirmed by the man over their life. When they hear that brother, when that father looks in his son's face, "Boy, you're a man. Boy, you're a man." Looks at his daughter and says, "You're beautiful. You're fearfully and wonderful made." Let me tell you this. As a man, I'm setting the standard in my house. I'm setting the standard so high. Y'all don't hear what I'm saying. I'm setting the standard so high before my daughter that every brother that comes after me will have to measure up to me. Y'all, okay. If the standard is low, then her standards will be low. But if the father models what a man should be, how she should be treated, the standards are set high. Do you see the significance of having a man in a child's life, in a male's life, in a female's life? They set the standard. Man sets the standard for his children. Look at this text. Like arrows in the hand of a warrior, so are the children of one's youth. How blessed is the man whose quiver is full of them. They will not be ashamed when they speak with their enemies in the gate. Y'all missed it. Y'all missed it. The Bible calls children arrows. Call the man holding the arrows a warrior. Can I pause and parenthetically digress? Every man in this place has a warring spirit on the inside of you. I'm looking at a bunch of warriors. And if you are a bunch of warriors, if you have any children, it's your job. Okay. All right. They're in the quiver. So I'm the warrior. So I am to take them out of the quiver. And wait a minute. There's a lack of women judges. My daughter will make a great judge. Boom. I don't like the way this presidency is going. I see that all over my son. I see my son could be a great man. I can see him doing great things. Boom. God has given us the authority as men to take our children and point them in the direction that they should go. That we can build up such an influence over our babies that they desire what we point them to. Boom. The problem I have, they're not in quivers. I see a lot of arrows laying on the ground. I see a lot of arrows laying on the ground because they don't have warriors to pick them up. Let me tell you this, brothers. They don't have to be your biological child to become a warrior for that child. Can I break this down to you? This is my desire with the men's ministry. I want to open up a program that every one Saturday a month, I want to bring men in here that's skilled in different trades. Right? I want to bring youth in here, young men in here, to learn some of the trades that these brothers, okay? Let's say Elder Dixon know how to fix cars. That day is car fixing time. So we bring all the young men and teach these young men to fix cars on their own so they're not dependent on the dealership. Or somebody that's astute in finances. He'll call the brothers in there, teach these brothers how to write checks. That messed me up when I had this brother, didn't even know how to write a check. 25 years old. I had to show him how to write a check. Because this is what we do. This is what we do. I got to close. Because our women, as wonderful, powerful, beautiful as you are, unfortunately, you're pushing the warrior spirit in your daughters without pushing the warrior spirit in your sons. So how come your daughter know how to fend for herself, but your son don't? Your daughter know how to write all the checks, but your son don't. That's out of order. God has called for every man to know what it means to be a man. And that's why I want to start this program. Bring brothers here. Teach them how to fix cars. Teach them how to... It's a shame. Some things need to be fixed in my house, and I don't even know how to do it. I got to call somebody to come in my house and fix something that's going to cost me $500 I could fix for $25. But if I had another man to show me exactly what I need to do, I can avoid that cost. And that's what I want to do. I want to start up that program here at the Kingdom Christian Center so every man, child would be educated. Last but not least, God need a man. Every man need a man. Every child need a man. Every woman needs a man. Woo! Somebody say every woman needs a man. Let me just hear the ladies real quick. Brothers, just be silent. I want to hear the ladies say this. Ladies, say this after me. Every woman needs a man. Oh, yes. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you what's happening in society. Let me tell you what's happening in society where a woman says she don't need a man. I hear that a lot. Some of y'all may have said that. That's why I made you say that, so you can cancel what you said. Can I help you, Tim? Yeah, I'm going to help you, Tim. Every woman needs a man. Watch this. But what's going on in society is this. We find this in the Bible. The Bible says there's nothing new in the sun. Right? That means we can find stuff that happened in the past that's happening now. Can I prove it? Look at the text. Isaiah. For 7 women will take hold of one man. Are you feeling what I'm saying? 7 women will take hold of one man saying this. We will eat our own bread. We will wear our own clothes. Only let us be called by your name. Can I break this down to you? Do y'all know the ratio to men, especially in Atlanta, is 7-1? This text is saying that there's 7 women trying to get with one brother, right? We don't need nothing from you. I don't need your money. That's your bread. You don't have to buy me nothing. I'm good. But just give me your name. And watch this. I don't want to be alone. So marry me. That's what it means. Give me my name. That's what women do. When women marries a man, they don't do that no more, Ron? Thank you. Can I get on a rabbit trail real quick and I'm going to come right back. So we're going to pause and then I'm going to come back to it. All right? Let's deal with this. See, most women do that. You know why they do it, Ron? Because they don't understand what that means. All right? They don't understand when a man marries a woman and she takes on his last name. What that means is he's responsible. That means he covers. Okay? You had your daddy before you met me. Your name was Taria DeMud. That was her name. When she married me, she became Taria McDonough. that means daddy ain't taking care of you no more. It's my job. So for those who want to hyphenate, that's fine. But I'm going to tell you what that means. That means daddy's going to take care of you and me. And I don't see daddy doing nothing. So that's why the whole name means covering. That means this brother is now responsible for this woman. She is now a part of the lineage of McDonald now. She's transitioned from the mud and she's now McDonald. That means I am responsible for her. So this text, just give me your last name, but I'm good. Just marry me. I want to be able to have a big wedding with a whole bunch of people to see me. Y'all looking at me like y'all never watched Bridezilla. It's about me. It's about me. When they see that, that's fine. I don't want nothing else from you. So watch this. In the text, the reason why they had to emphasize that is because that's what they thought men were only good for. That all they could do is get bread and all that. But I got my own money. And brothers, we're going to have to find out another game. Okay, we're going to have to come with another game because they don't need our money no more. They don't need our money. They're making their own money. Some of them making good money. Making good money. They're making good money, making more money than you. So they don't need you for that. They don't need you to buy clothes, cars. They're doing all that. Most of them had that before you got in the picture. So you have to be able to supply something that they don't have. Can I give you something that although a woman say all this stuff that she don't need, this one thing a man can do for her that she can't do herself, and get your mind out the gutters. Because I seen y'all drifting. They was drifting. They was going after dark. That was drifting that way. Come on back. Come on back. Come on back. That's not what I'm talking about. Because they doing that on their own too. But that's... Come back next week. I'll preach a sermon about Jesus. Here it goes. There's something that a man does for a woman that she can't do herself. Can I put some Bible on it? Watch this. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 26. Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ also loved the church and gave himself up for her, so that he may sanctify her, having cleansed her by the washing of water with the word. Ha ha! That's something you can't do yourself. Why is this significant? Why? What does this text mean? Do you mean give your wife a bath every day? Because that's some of the brother. I'm gonna wash her today. I'm gonna make a bathtub for her. I'm gonna just throw the Bible in there with her, washing her with the word. No. Washing her with the word. Why is that significant? Why does he say that to the woman and not the man? Why don't say, wives, make sure you wash your husbands with the word? No. He says, husbands, wash your wives. Now why? Because women are naturally, significantly, wonderfully emotional. Men are more logical than women. More logical. That doesn't mean women ain't logical. It's just men are more logical. Women are more emotional. They don't. Okay. Can I break this down? Because y'all looking at me like y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay. Can I prove it? I'm going to the mall. And brother, I'm getting me some Jordans. I make up in my mind at my home. I'm going to the mall and I'm getting me some Jordans. And guess what I do? I get in my car, I go to the mall, I get my Jordans and go home. Woman, I'm going to the mall to get me some shoes. A woman goes to the mall and she has to feel everything. Trying a shoe. Let's go to the next one. Trying to fill in the material. A woman has to feel everything. It's got to feel right. If it don't feel right, she ain't getting it. Because women are more emotional than men. Men are logical. We straight to the point, logical. That's why when we talk differently. Men want to get to the point. How was your day? Well, my day was like this. That's it. We good. Women, well, I woke up this morning and I didn't have my coffee. And when I didn't have my coffee, you know it said, all I asked you was, how was your day? That's all I asked. What was your day? Because women feel everything. Men are more logical. We straight to the point, more direct. Women are logical. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's how God made you. Now, here's the problem with being emotional driven and feeling. Women, your emotions serve as this. For male and female, emotions served as like a fly trap, if you will. You ever seen those sticky fly traps that come from, we stick them in the ceiling and they come down so the flies get trapped to it? That's what your emotions does. Your emotions trap things. They still don't believe me. Can I prove it? Me and Rock can fight tonight. I can't stand you, Rock. You get on my last nerves, bro. You said what you said. Get out of my face. Next morning, what's going on, Rock? You going to the gym? We cool? Yeah, man, we good. Ladies. "15 years later, you see her walking down the street. Get on my, she better not say, she better not. She bet not. Because women are a little bit more emotional because, and with that said, they trap things in their feelings. Y'all know where I'm going. So it traps debris. So a woman is going through life feeling everything. Y'all are not hearing what I'm saying. She's feeling. She has to feel the relationship. She has to feel she has to feel everything. So she's attaching to everything. Men can walk through life. You remember Suzanne? Who? Oh yeah, that's that girl I used to kick with. Ask her sister. You remember Johnny? He broke my heart. Yep. And she goes back to that because she's feeling. She's walking through life feeling. God knew that. So it took a good brother. He says when she hooks up with the right brother, it's his job. I'm telling you, sisters, when you hook up with the right man, he will spend his life washing off all the debris that Pookie put on you, that Jonathan put on you, that Leek and Mookie, all that stuff, everything that he did to you, it's his duty to wash it off of you. Can I say this? Can I say this? Can I say this? If you got a problem, brothers, with your wife, you just like Pookie. You ain't washing. I'm pretty sure my wife was with some other brothers before me. But you can never tell. Oh, y'all didn't hear what I just said. You can never tell. No. Because I take pride in washing my woman, my beautiful queen, with the word. Man washes his wife with the word. Everything that's on her. Every past issue is his job to wash her with that word. Women, y'all don't know what y'all do for a man. Y'all just don't know. The Bible says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and earth. On the sixth day, he created man. He put man to sleep, and he pulled the rib out of the man. Right? Y'all didn't know what he was doing when he pulled the rib out of the man. Y'all didn't know what he was doing. Y'all thought it was just, because I was talking to a brother today. God can do all that. Well, I don't believe that story because God could snap his finger and a man and a woman be there. I said, yes. There has to be a reason why he set up the order he did. He took man from the ground because man will be foundation. Did y'all hear what I just said? He will be the foundation of the family. Everything will rest on the man. That's why he took man from the ground. The ground is symbolic for foundation, right? Then took the woman out of the man. When God took the woman out of man, he took the man's starter. Y'all didn't hear what I just said. He took the starter out of the man. Y'all know what a car, when we come and I want this big powerful car to move, I must turn the starter on. Okay. Y'all not hearing what I'm saying? The Bible says this, that man is the glory of God and the woman is the glory of the man. What does that mean? That means that the praise of a man gives glory to God, and the praise from his woman gives glory to that man. All right. They did not hear what I'm saying. He took the woman out. She's the starter. She can actually turn on the man to his purpose. Didn't the Bible says that in the beginning he created somebody to help? So as the man is the head, the woman is the help. Man is the head, but woman is... See, some of your ladies ready right now to bust me upside the head because I called you help. Ain't nothing wrong with that word help. Oh. Okay. You see this right here? What if I asked Victoria, raise your hand up. Just lift your hand up for me. Y'all see Victoria? What if I asked Victoria to help me carry this? Y'all look at me like I'm crazy, right? But what if I asked Brother Ra to help me carry this? Y'all understand that this makes more sense than that. Y'all can catch this. Why does this make more sense to that? Because he is stronger than her. And if I need help, I need somebody just as strong or strong. Y'all didn't hear what I just said. So when God called the woman help, he wasn't saying she was insignificant. He said this brother needs somebody just as strong as him to make it in life. And he put some supernatural power on the inside of a woman that will cause a brother feel like he's the man of the world when his wife is able to speak, when that woman is able to speak something into his life. Somebody say starter. Well, I've been trying to start my boyfriend for like 10 years now. He still ain't starting because you're not his starter. They mad at me. I can't take a starter that belongs to a Ford and try to put it in a Cadillac. It just ain't gonna work. It has to be starter for starter. And most women are running into problems because you're trying to start brothers that you're not built to be a starter for. So don't blame that brother. Okay. When that woman speaks into that man's life, he's able to build a life for that woman that she never even imagined. When she speaks over him, when he washes her, she speaks over him, it pushes them. Everybody stand to your feet. there's something powerful that God put on the inside of every man. And he wants it to be released into this world. The only way it can be released in this world is if you become a true man. A true man is a man that's responsible. The number one responsibility that a man or boy transition into a man, he's got to be responsible with his relationship with God.